Hello everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we're going to be tackling one of the absolute most expressive and useful tools in the entire English language. Our mission today is super simple. We are going to completely master the past continuous tense. By the time we wrap up this session, my goal is for you to be confidently throwing together sentences, asking questions, and just naturally using this tense in your everyday conversations. So, get comfortable, settle in, and let's get right into it. To kick things off, I've got a direct question for you. I want you to think back to exactly 24 hours ago. What were you doing yesterday? Were you working? Or, were you maybe just pretending to work while sipping on a cup of coffee? Well, just by thinking about how you'd answer that question, you're actually already priming your brain for the exact concept we're exploring today, which is ongoing actions in the past. It's kind of like rewinding a movie and hitting pause right in the middle of a big scene. Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the past continuous formula. Second, positive and negative sentences. Third, asking questions. Fourth, when to use it. Fifth, common time expressions. And finally, practice time.
Section 1. The past continuous formula.
So, what exactly is it? The past continuous tense is used to talk about an action that was happening at a very specific time in the past. You can really think of this tense like a photograph, just a snapshot of an action in motion. It doesn't just say, hey, this thing happened. It actually tells us that something was actively in progress at a specific moment in history.
The absolutely crucial point here is how we actually build the thing. It comes down to this core formula: subject plus was or were plus your main verb with an ing tagged on the end. It really is that simple. For instance, if your subject is I, you use was. And if your verb is play, you just add ing. Putting it together, you get I was playing, or she was reading, or they were watching TV. You really need all three of those puzzle pieces for the sentence to work.
Now, remembering when to use was versus were can definitely trip people up sometimes. But just remember this rule of thumb. For singular pronouns like I, he, she, and it, you're always going to use was. For you, we, and they, use were. If you lock in that contrast, you are completely set.
Section 2. Positive and negative sentences.
So we've got a classic positive statement here. I was sleeping. Now, if you want to instantly flip this into a negative statement, all you have to do is insert one tiny little word. You just add the word not directly after was or were, making it I was not sleeping. The whole structure stays exactly the same. We literally just drop in that little negative marker.
But if you want to sound a bit more like a native speaker, pay attention to the flow of these sentences. In everyday spoken English, we almost always combine was and not, or were and not, into contractions. So she was not watching TV smoothly becomes she wasn't watching TV. And they were not playing outside turns into they weren't playing outside. It just speeds up the sentence and gives it a much more natural conversational rhythm.
Section 3. Asking questions.
The transformation here is incredibly simple. Seriously, to turn "he was reading a book" into a question, you don't even add any new words. You just take was or were and move it to the very beginning of the sentence. Was he reading a book? It's just a quick little swap of the first two words.
And you can use the structure for anything. Were they playing football? Were you studying yesterday? Now, when someone asks you these questions, you don't have to repeat the whole entire sentence back to them. You can just use these proper short answers. Yes, I was, or no, I wasn't. If you're talking about a group, yes, they were, or no, they weren't. It keeps the conversation nice and crisp.
Section 4. When do we use it? According to our source material, there are three major real-world use cases for the past continuous. First, an action in progress in the past. Second, two actions happening at the exact same time. And third, a long action that gets interrupted by a short action. Let's dive into an example for each of these to make it crystal clear.
Here is Rule 1 in action. At 8 p.m., I was doing my homework. The main takeaway here is the specific time in the past. At exactly 8 p.m., the homework had already started, and it wasn't finished yet. It was actively in progress. Or, at least that's what you tell your teacher, right? This tense just perfectly captures that ongoing duration.
All right, now for Rule 2. My mom was cooking while my dad was reading. This is a brilliant example because it illustrates exactly how the tense handles simultaneous actions. You've got two people doing two totally separate, ongoing things at the exact same time in the past. Notice how we use the past continuous for both halves of the sentence just to show that these activities were happening parallel to one another.
And finally, Rule 3, which is honestly probably the most dynamic way to use this tense. I was walking to school when it started to rain. Look at the narrative contrast here. We have this long, ongoing action, walking to school, which is setting the scene. Then, out of nowhere, a short action interrupts it. It started to rain. The long action is in the past continuous, and the sudden interrupting action uses the simple past tense. It is such a great storytelling tool.
Section 5. Common time expressions. If you ever spot these words in a sentence, there is a very high chance you're dealing with the past continuous. Little clue words like while and when are great for signaling those simultaneous or interrupted actions we were just talking about. And phrases like at 7 o'clock yesterday, all evening, or this time yesterday clearly point to a specific, ongoing chunk of time in the past. Keep an eye out for these. They are literally your best friends when trying to identify this tense.
Section 6. Practice time. Let's see what you've learned.
All right, it's time to fill in the blanks using the correct form of the past continuous tense. I'm going to read them out, and I want you to try and guess the answers in your head before we reveal them. Ready? Number 1, she read a book. Number 2, they play football. And number 3, an interrupted action. We watch TV when Dad came home. Do you have your answers locked in?
Okay, let's see how you did. For number 1, our subject is she, so it has to be was reading. She was reading a book. For number 2, the subject is they, so we go with were playing. They were playing football. And for number 3, it's we, so it is were watching. We were watching TV when Dad came home. Huge congratulations if you got those right. You are officially putting the whole puzzle together.
You now know exactly how to build these sentences, make them negative, ask questions, and apply the 3 major rules for the past continuous tense. You've done an absolutely incredible job following along with this breakdown. But, this is really just one piece of the language puzzle. So now that you've mastered the past continuous tense, what English grammar rule will you conquer next? Keep that curiosity alive, keep practicing, and thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Until next time.